Alrighty, so for reading, we are going to analyze point of view, and you can find that on page 564 of your literacy book. Now, we already know that first person is when the storyteller is telling the story from his or her point of view. So it's through their eyes. And they are going to use words such as I, we, us, as though they are part of everything that is happening. We're not going to worry about second person today. Then we're going to talk about third person. You're going to learn more about objective, limited, and omniscient third person in fourth and fifth grade. We're just going to stick to the general idea of third person, which is someone who is an outsider telling the story. So they are going to use words such as them, he, she, they. So as you were keeping that in the back of your head, we are going to analyze point of view and see how the narrator's point of view from Noah's Ark helped us understand the story. Now, the first thing is Wren was part of the story. So there were words such as I that were used. So what do you think Noah's Ark was written in? Was that first or third? So think about that. We are going to watch a video that explains a little bit more on analyzing point of view and how if you change the point of view of one character, how it can kind of flip the story. This one is about two mice who were field mice and then went to the town and their different perspectives. Use these examples given in this video to help you dissect Noah's Ark and fill out this chart.
The point of view of a piece of literature is the voice that is telling the story. Some stories are told by a narrator. A narrator is a speaker who is not a character in the story. A narrator can tell the thoughts, feelings, and actions of all the characters. Stories that do not have a narrator are told from the point of view of one of the characters. The reader only understands feelings and events occurring from that character's perspective. Listen to this story being told by a narrator. Think about how each character feels. The field mouse and the town mouse. Field mouse had a friend who lived in a house in town. He invited the town mouse to dinner. Out he came and sat down to a meal of corn and wheat. "My friend," said Town Mouse, "you have so little here. I have all kinds of things at home. Come and enjoy them." So the two set off for town. There the Town Mouse showed his beans, grains, cheeses, fruit, and honey. As the Field Mouse ate, drank, and was merry, he thought how rich his friend was and how poor he was himself. However, as they ate, a man suddenly opened the door. The mice were so afraid that they ran into a crack. Then, when they wanted some figs, in came a maid to fetch something. When they saw her, they hid in a hole. Finally, Field Mouse could eat no more. He told Town Mouse, "Do as you like, my friend. Eat all you want. Have your fill of good things. But you are always in fear of your life. As for me, a poor mouse with only corn and wheat, I will live at home without fear of anyone." How does Town Mouse feel? He thinks that Field Mouse lives a poor life. He enjoys the things he has in town. At first, Field Mouse agrees that Town Mouse is rich compared to him. However, with so many people around, the mice are always afraid of being caught. Field Mouse soon realizes that being poor and living without fear is better than having many things, but always being afraid for your life. Imagine how Field Mouse might retell this story from his perspective. He would feel that town is too scary. He prefers his safe home. The food is not worth the danger. However, Town Mouse might tell the story differently. He thinks the field is dull and life is much better in town. Having riches is worth the danger. If told from Town Mouse's point of view, the story would likely end this way. So Field Mouse went back home to live his poor life. How sorry I feel for him. He'll miss out on all this lovely food. I may need to hide now and then, but at least I have some excitement. This fine life is worth the risk. A story's mood and the events that take place in a story have a lot to do with the point of view of the character telling the story. How might one of your favorite stories change if told by a different character?
Okay, so I hope from that example you can see how the perspective of characters, dependent upon the point of view, can kind of change a whole story or what you as the reader thinks about as you're reading. That story was in the point of view of the field mouse. So he thought life was scary. He didn't think it was worth the risk. He thought the town mouse was rich. But then you flip it, and the town mouse had a much different perspective. So as you were going back through Noah's Ark, the first example they gave says, "That's why I was named Wren." She says, "I'm tough, just like she is. We never would have survived the 1927 flood." So I want you to write what the point of view is, whether that's first or third. And then you're explaining how that point of view helps you better understand the story. So the example given was that I understand that the narrator is tough like her grandmother and that they both survived the 1927 flood. That's a great perspective. Now, imagine if grandma was the one telling this part. I named her Wren because she's like me. Could that turn things if the story was about grandma and her perspective of dealing with this flood during Noah's Ark? Just some things to think about. So you're going to go back through the text and you're going to find another thing that you can copy and put down. You're going to identify what the point of view is and then use that point of view to help you understand what is going on in the story. I hope that makes sense. I hope you've got it. I will post this anchor chart just as a reminder of what first and third point of view is to our storyboard on Class Dojo. All right, y'all.